Now, finally, we turn towards the movie Unplanned. And last week, I actually dealt with this already, but there's another good piece of news in the wake of the release of that. This movie is the true story of Abby Johnson, 8 years at Planned Parenthood, Employee of the Year, oversaw thousands of abortions until one day she witnessed an ultrasound, second trimester, I think it was, abortion, and she became radically pro-life. And she turned her back on that whole thing. She exited the industry, and she has now become an advocate for the unborn. This movie, Unplanned, released in the US the other week, is the true story of her pro-life journey. And you know, they threw everything at it. Twitter shut down the Unplanned movies page twice. Major TV networks refused to run ads for Unplanned, which is very serious because in terms of the movie advertising industry, getting those ads in front of people is crucial to a movie's success. Hollywood gave it an R rating. Why? Well, to keep people away, especially younger people. Everything was thrown at these guys to stop them. And this is the Pureflix is the name of the producer. They created God's Not Dead and God's Not Dead 2. And yet, last week I brought you the amazing news that this debuted fourth at the US box office on its opening weekend. And if you take into account the sales per theatre metric, because it was only at a limited number of theatres for obvious reasons, you know, that took it up to second. It beat Captain Marvel, which is just unbelievable on a per theatre sales basis. So they couldn't shut it down. They couldn't stop it. It went brilliantly, but the good news continues. Now that we've been a few, 10 days or a little more than that, 2 weeks after the movie's release, we can now say this: 1% of all, actually over 1% of all the abortion industry workers in the US have, in the course of the 10 days following the release of this movie, reached out to Abby Johnson's foundation for help to exit the industry. 10 people a day working in the abortion industry who have seen this film have reached out for help to get out of that industry. So it's making a tremendous difference, a massive impact. And we can praise God for that. And we are actually pursuing options to get this movie brought to Australia. We'll see how that goes. It may be successful, but even if it's not, it's going to become available to buy on a day soon. And I'd encourage us all to consider looking at it. Not that I've seen it, so I can't fully endorse it, but it's certainly doing a great work in the United States. Another good news, so double-barreled good news story for the truth of it this week, and that was the truth of it.